Comfort is not healing you. Comfort is quietly hollowing you out. You're not safe, you're sedated. You can feel it when you wake, and your chest is heavy for no reason you can name. When your phone steals your focus before you've even decided who you are today. When the soft choices pile up like pillows around a body that forgot how to stand. You call it self-care, but it's self-abandonment. A ritual of tiny surrenders that feels gentle in the moment and cruel when you look at the week and wonder where your life went. You tell yourself you're protecting your peace, but peace without purpose is just numbness wearing a robe. And numbness is the most expensive drug you'll ever buy because it charges you in days you don't get back. Listen closely, your mind isn't exhausted from effort. It's starving from under purpose. From all the avoided edges that would have given your life weight. From the boundaries you didn't speak and the standards you didn't hold because you thought staying soft would make people stay. It doesn't. It makes them drift. Because no one respects a shape that dissolves on contact. Here's your first harsh realization: you don't get what you want. You get what you're willing to feel, the body you respect, the work that matters, the love that lasts. Each one asks you to feel sweat, uncertainty, tension, the sting of telling the truth when silence would be easier. You've been trying to buy results at a discount, no discomfort, no risk, all upside, and the invoice is your self-respect. Second harsh realization: most of your burnout is backlog, not overwork. Tasks you avoid rot in your psyche until your nervous system thrums with low-grade dread. And you call that fatigue, but it's debt, compounding interest on decisions you keep postponing because the bed is warm and the couch is warm and the lie is warm and you chose warmth like it was oxygen. Third harsh realization: attraction dies at room temperature. In relationships, in work, in your own eyes. Polarity needs friction. Respect needs edges. Intimacy needs pressure. And you've been smoothing every contour in the name of harmony until there's nothing left to hold on to. You don't need to become harsh, but you do need to become defined, and definition only emerges under load. You say you crave motivation, but motivation is the afterglow of action, not the permission slip before it. You say you want clarity, but clarity is forged by contact: one uncomfortable call, one unedited sentence, one workout you start before your brain negotiates a playlist. You say you're waiting for the right time, but time isn't coming to rescue you. It's passing judgment while you scroll. The truth is simple and sharp. Comfort is the counterfeit of peace, and it sells you silence in your head by emptying your days of meaning. Real peace sits on the far side of doing the thing that scares you and finding out you didn't die. Look at your patterns and tell the truth without poetry. You hit snooze because soft is easier than standing. You say yes when you mean no, because soft is easier than being disliked. You over-explain because soft is easier than letting silence do its job. You binge inputs because soft is easier than output that can be judged. You call all of this being gentle with yourself, but gentleness that protects your prison is just a velvet handcuff. If you want out, you have to be willing to hear your own voice shake and speak anyway. You have to retrain your nervous system to feel the first minute of friction and stay long enough for it to become fuel. No magic, no hack, no guru, just contact with the edge until the edge becomes normal. Your life will change the day you replace. Do I feel like it with, do I respect it, and then align your feet with that answer? Respect is the compass. Desire is the weather. And if you keep living by weather, you will drown in a shallow rain. Respect says you get out of bed on the first alarm and put both feet on the floor before your mind pleads its case. Respect says you send the direct line. This doesn't work for me without a TED Talk to keep them comfortable. Respect says you start the work in ugly, unglorious sprints and let momentum outrun your perfectionism. Respect says you stop begging softness to heal wounds that are actually caused by softness. And if that sounds severe, remember the cost of your current gentleness: a calendar that looks busy and feels empty, a relationship where you vanish to avoid waves, a mirror you can't trust because you keep breaking contracts with yourself. You're afraid of losing people if you stop being easy. Lose them. Better to be abandoned for your edges than adored for your erasure. The ones who needed your softness to stay will wander, and that's not a tragedy. It's filtration. The ones who can hold a defined you will step closer. Because definition feels like gravity. And gravity is what we anchor to when life throws weather. Stop saying you hate drama when what you really hate is demand from your mission, demand from your standards, demand from your future self. Drama is what fills the vacuum after you dodge demand. Meet demand and drama dies. It's physics, not poetry. You want a small shift that detonates this trance. Design one daily hard thing and do it before you can negotiate 20 minutes. Timer visible, no curating conditions. No ritualized avoidance disguised as preparation. Start messy, stop on purpose, collect evidence, stack it. Watch your identity bend toward the person who moves before permission arrives. And yes, your hands will shake the first times. They're supposed to. Trembling is the sound of chains loosening. Keep going. Mute the part of your brain that thinks new pain is a diagnosis and teach it that new pain is adaptation. That is how athletes grow muscle, how artists grow voice, how lovers grow courage. The body learns through repetition what the mind refuses to accept. You can stay in the heat and remain whole. Here's the only rule worth carving on your wall. Choose one hard thing a day on purpose. Not the hardest, just hard enough to make you swallow. Do it when you said you would. Even when your feelings protest, let the feeling follow like a well-trained dog. And when you miss, and you will don't drown in slogans. Just pay a small, immediate cost. Do a small, immediate win, and add one tiny layer of friction to the hiding place that tripped you. No shame spirals, just engineering. You're not broken. You're over-negotiated. Fix the negotiation by fixing the environment phone out of the room, apps off your home screen, your mission line taped to your eye line, your first task set where your hand lands. The tidy truth is, this courage is logistics wearing grit. You already know everything you need. You're not confused. You're compliant. You're not tired. You're under-demanded. You're not unlovable. You're undefined. And the exit is embarrassingly direct. Become a moving target for comfort. Build edges into your morning. Speak the boundary even when your voice shakes. Stand in the silence after. Let people sort themselves out. Watch your respect for yourself grow heavier than your fear of displeasing anyone. This is what liberation sounds like: no applause, no anthem, just the quiet thud of kept promises stacking into a spine. So here's your line in the sand for today. Stop asking for softer pillows. Sharpen your choices. Pick the hard thing. Pick it now. If you won't, fine, stay soft and disappear. But if you will, feel your life return like blood to a sleeping limb. And don't you dare hit snooze on that pulse. Choose the edge today, or keep letting comfort bury you alive. Decision due now. Comfort didn't save you. It merely taught you how to disappear without making a sound. You keep calling it peace because you're afraid to call it what it is: slow self-erasure. Look at the shape of your days and tell the truth. Your mouth keeps dodging. You delay the conversation. You delay the workout. You delay the launch. And then you wrap the delay in noble words like recovery and self-care and protecting my energy. But recovery without effort is sedation. Self-care without standards is evasion. And protecting your energy is just hoarding it until it turns stale and poisonous in your chest. You're not resting. You're rusting. And rust spreads. The reason your mind feels foggy isn't because life is too demanding. It's because you trained your nervous system to sprint towards soft exits the second you feel a little heat. And a body that flees the stove never learns to cook. The same reflex sabotages your relationships. Because intimacy requires the smallest acts of public courage: speaking a line you might be judged for, holding your tone when someone pushes, staying present in a pause that begs to be filled, and you dodge each one. Smooth each edge, smile through each pinch, and then wonder why attraction bleeds out of the room like air from a punctured lung. Here's a truth you don't want to touch because it burns. You don't lack time. You lack a threshold. You don't lack talent. You lack a willingness to feel the first minute of friction. You don't lack confidence. You lack a record of kept promises under pressure. And confidence is nothing more than that record playing back in your bloodstream. You tried to earn that record with mantras and playlists and perfect planning. But records are carved by doing the hard thing while your pulse argues. And the needle only cuts when the hand doesn't flinch. You keep insisting you need clarity before you act. But clarity is what action gives you. The same way fire gives you light. You're standing in a dark room performing elaborate rituals to see better. And the match is in your hand. Strike it. Feel the sting. Watch the walls appear. Yes, smoke will make your eyes water. But tears are not a symptom of danger. They're a sign you left a safe room that was quietly killing you. In the economy of attraction, and do not pretend you're immune to that economy, comfort lowers your value not because softness is ugly, but because softness unchecked becomes shapelessness. And shapelessness cannot hold tension. And tension is the frame that makes connection feel alive. When your life is engineered to avoid being disliked, you become forgettable. And forgettable is the price tag you get when you discount your standards to clearance. People read your relationship to discomfort the way they read weather, without thinking, in the way you inhale before you speak, the way your eyes hold or dart, the way your yes sounds like a plea or a decision. They may not name it, but their body knows if yours can bear weight, and weight-bearing is what makes you magnetic. Shocking truth 1. Your fatigue is a backlog of avoided decisions masquerading as burnout. And if you made 3 clean choices today, the call you owe, the line you need, the thing you must start your exhaustion would drop by half before the sun goes down. Shocking truth 2. The person you want to be is not hiding behind more comfort. They're hiding behind 20 minutes of honest effort performed when you least feel like it, because that's when identity edits actually render. Shocking truth 3. The peace you fantasize about will never arrive in a room where nothing is asked of you. Because peace without demand is just the dull hum of anesthesia. And anesthesia can't tell you who you are. You want out. So hear this with the force it deserves. The exit is not a grand reinvention. It's a single rule repeated until your bones believe it. Choose one hard thing on purpose. Early. Daily. And do it before your mouth opens to negotiate. You will think this is small because your ego still wants cinematic transformation. But small and daily is how bones thicken and voices deepen. And small and daily is how you become the person whose presence has edges that other people can lean against. You're not trying to be mean, you're trying to be reliable. And reliability is born in pressure, not in padding. Your environment needs to stop conspiring with your softness. So strip it of its exits, put the phone where your hand can't find it, while your mind is weak. Place what matters in your line of sight so your day has no plausible deniability. Stop decorating the altar where you sacrifice your future to comfort, and build a morning that moves before you can think. Because thinking is where you lose. The brain is a gifted lawyer who will argue you out of everything that would make you proud. So bypass the courtroom and let your feet file the brief. You will be stunned how quickly your mood follows motion when motion is not up for debate. In love, the same law applies. You keep trying to buy harmony with appeasement, and appeasement is counterfeit intimacy because it trades truth for temporary relief and invoices both of you later with resentment. The simplest fix is the hardest one. Say the thing you hope they guess. Say it short, then shut up, and let the space do its work. If they can't meet you there, you will feel fear rise its old arguments about abandonment. But abandonment by a misaligned story is not tragedy. It's air returning to your lungs. When you prove to yourself that you can survive being misunderstood, your voice stops curving at the end of sentences like a question. And that straightening is audible. It is also attractive. Not because it dominates, but because it declares. And declaration is how two defined people build a third thing worth staying for. The mindset shift you need is embarrassingly simple and savagely effective. Stop praying for life to get easier and start praying to become the person for whom this level of hard is normal. The first prayer keeps you a beggar. The second builds you into a builder. Beggars bargain with mood. Builders bargain with reality. And reality rewards builders because they make deposits the world can actually cash. Measure your day by deposits. Not by vibes, one truthful sentence spoken when your throat tightens. One session of work completed while your excuses screamed. One small act of self-respect enforced when it would have been cheaper to fold, and watch how quickly your internal weather stabilizes. Still storm, but a different sky. You will relapse into softness because you're human. When it happens, Skip the shame opera. Name the slip aloud so the trance breaks. Pay a tiny fine now instead of a massive one later. Perform one inconvenient win immediately. And change one detail in the scene where you slid. So next time, friction stands where the exit used to be. This is how grown people change, not by drama, by design, not by inspiration, by iteration, not by making vows, by making architecture. If you're looking for permission, here it is, and it's not sweet. Your comfort is not sacred. Your future is. Your likability is not sacred. Your self-respect is. Your habit of making everything painless is not sacred. Your ability to carry weight is. Either you will offend your fear or you will abandon your life. There is no third path. You know this. And knowing hurts. But hurt is how truth marks its place in the body, so you can find it later when the old softness sings its lullaby. So decide now, not tomorrow, not when the conditions are photogenic. Pick the edge you've been dodging. Touch it for 20 unromantic minutes with both hands. Let your heart race and your breath stumble and keep going anyway. And when the timer ends, stand still and feel the first clean quiet you've earned in months. That quiet is your proof. And proof is the only antidote to the gospel of comfort that tried to make a believer out of you. Collect proof daily until comfort has no congregation left in your bones. Do the hard thing today while your mouth still wants to argue, or keep choosing the soft death that asks nothing and takes everything you move. Now, your pain isn't the problem. Your pact with comfort is. You keep mistaking the pain of growth for a warning and the pain of stagnation for safety. And that confusion is draining your life in quiet and polite increments. You tell yourself you're being reasonable, balanced, mature, but reasonable has become a euphemism for avoidant, balanced a costume for indecisive, mature a mask for muted. You don't need a new philosophy. You need a new threshold, a line in your nervous system where you stop bolting when the temperature rises and start breathing like heat means life. The moment the hard thing appears, write the pitch. Walk into the gym, say the boundary, your chest tightens, your skin buzzes, your mind starts negotiating for mercy, and you call that a sign to pause. But it's not a sign. It's conditioning, the echo of 1,000 small exits that taught your body that escape earns relief. Relief is not the same thing as respect. Relief is cheap. Respect is earned when you stand in the first minute and let the animal in your rib cage spasm while your hands keep moving. Shocking truth 1. Most of what you label anxiety is simply the noise created by unmade decisions. Finish 3, the noise drops, and suddenly your mental health crisis shrinks into a solvable mess of calendar and courage. Shocking truth 2. Your self-esteem never left you. You abandoned it by breaking micro-promises until your reflections stopped believing your mouth. Confidence is not affirmation. It's the muscle memory of kept word under heat, and you can rebuild that memory one sweaty minute at a time. Shocking truth 3. Your compatibility issues are often the predictable outcome of living at room temperature. You can't hold attraction when you refuse edges. Can't earn trust when you negotiate every line into mush. Can't build intimacy when you anesthetize every feeling that might spark a real conversation. You think the solution is to find someone gentler, an environment softer, a schedule kinder. You want external fluff to retrofit an internal spine. It doesn't work like that. Comfort obeys the architecture you allow. And architecture is built by decisions that outlive your moods, so build them. Put your mornings on rails so your feet move before your brain litigates. Put your phone in exile so your reflex can't grab its favorite syringe. Put your mission sentence where your eyes land so amnesia can't steal your first hour. And accept that the first 5 minutes of anything honest will always feel wrong to a body that's been trained to bolt. The reframe that will save your life is embarrassingly simple. Stop asking, how do I make this easier, and start asking, how do I become the person for whom this level of heart is normal? That single shift turns you from a beggar into a builder. Beggars bargain for softer weather. Builders raise stronger roofs. Beggars ask for shorter hills. Builders grow bigger lungs. Beggars need permission. Builders carry policy. Policy is what makes you attractive in the deepest sense, because policy is the quiet voltage that tells a room, This person won't dissolve to keep the air calm. That voltage is not cruelty. It's reliability. And reliability is rare in a culture that rewards appeasement with likes and punishes definition with labels. You can become rare. Start by choosing friction on purpose and naming it correctly. This sting belongs to dignity. This boredom belongs to mastery. This silence belongs to truth doing its job. Your old self will fight. It will throw pretty words like balance and alignment and intuition. And sometimes those words are sacred, but often they are camouflage for the same soft exits you've been taking since you learned that being easy kept people around. Being easy didn't keep people. It kept users. The ones who needed your blur will vanish as you sharpen. And good riddance, because space is the price you pay for gravity, and gravity is what makes the right ones notice. You don't need to scream to be noticed. You need a spine people can lean against. Spines grow in friction, not in cushions. This means picking one thing daily that insults your comfort exactly enough to demand breath control and continuing until the timer says stop. It means replying once and closing the chat when your boundary is poked, instead of writing essays to remain adorable. It means starting the draft with the bad first line and clicking send while your hand trembles. It means choosing the run in the rain because your old self would wait for sun. It means telling the truth when a performance would make you safer. It means walking away clean when your standard is mocked. Because if you don't protect it, your nervous system learns that your standards are theater. You want a mind that's quiet. Earn it with output that matches your values. Your mind is noisy because it's holding the weight of all the things you promised and didn't do. You don't need another meditation app. You need completion, closure, consequences. Complete something small early. Close a loop you've been dragging. Attach a consequence to the habit that keeps bleeding your mornings, and watch your shoulders drop as the backlog thins. The human animal relaxes when it trusts the handler, and you are the handler. Start acting like it. Yes, you will slip, because biology, when you do, skip the courtroom and run the reset, name the dodge out loud so the trance breaks. Pay a tiny toll now so the future doesn't invoice you later. Choose one inconvenient win immediately so your identity remembers which team it plays for, and change one detail in the scene of the slide so next time friction stands where the exit used to be. This is how adults iterate. No drama, just design. The whisper in your head that says you're too late is a liar specialized in time theft. You are not late. You are early to the only moment that matters. The one where you stop trying to feel brave and start doing brave. Do it small and do it now. Gravity will collect. The takeaway you can implement before this hour is done is concrete and clean. Replace maybe later with 20 minutes now. Replace. I'll see what that doesn't work for me. Replace I need motivation with I need evidence. And spend today building exactly that evidence that you can touch discomfort and stay. It will change your voice, your posture, your choices. It will change who is attracted to you and who isn't. It will change how your own reflection greets you tomorrow morning. Comfort is still whispering that you can think about this and change soon. Soon is the graveyard of your potential. Give yourself the gift of ugly action, the kind that offends your perfectionism and delights your future self. Print this in your chest. You do not rise to your intentions. You fall to your standards, and standards are proven by what you do when it would be cheaper to fold. So choose the hard minute now, not because it's heroic, but because it's honest. Stand there, breathe there, move there, and let your life hear the sound of its owner returning. This is what coming back feels like: heat, tremble, focus, clean quiet on the other side. Touch the edge before your excuses find their shoes, or keep letting comfort smother you with a kindness that costs everything. Choose, and choose fast. Comfort promises peace and delivers decay. You don't need softer days, you need stronger edges. You've learned by now that the room temperature version of your life is the real enemy. The lukewarm mornings where you bargain with alarms. The lukewarm conversations where you bend to keep the air sweet. The lukewarm ambitions you never quite kill and never quite commit to. Lukewarm is rot in slow motion. Polite enough to pass as fine. Lethal enough to empty you without leaving evidence. And if you want out, you must build an anti-comfort life that protects your future from your moods. Start by accepting a truth that will bruise your ego and save your years. Your inconsistency isn't a character flaw, it's an environment flaw. You've engineered a habitat where the easiest thing is always the worst thing, where the most available object is the most numbing object, where your phone is closer to your hand than your purpose is to your eyes. And then you call yourself undisciplined as if shame could compete with design. Design wins, it always wins. So design differently. Design an hour each morning where movement outruns thought, where your feet touch the floor and your hands touch the hard thing before your brain files its fear brief. Make that hour sacred and expensive to miss, and give the calendar teeth cold shower now. $20 cent now. 50 burpees now because pain today beats the amorphous dread of unkept promises tomorrow. Design your space so your mission sentence is the first thing your eyes collide with, and your favorite escape routes are exiled 2 doors away. Design your relationships so truth stands up first. Preferences spoken simply. Boundaries enforced without a lecture. Repair invited without drama. Exits made clean when standards are mocked. Because in attraction dynamics, reliability is hotter than charm and definition beats performance every day. A defined life radiates gravity, and gravity is what the right people anchor to when weather hits. You don't need to roar to have gravity, you need policy. The quiet voltage of a person who won't dissolve to keep the peace. Policy sounds like I train early. I don't text during deep work. I don't explain no twice. And policy feels like safety to those who come in good faith and like friction to those who feed on your blur perfect. Let friction do the sorting you were too gentle to do. And while we're cutting myths, no, you are not too sensitive for hard conversations. You're under-practiced at holding your own pulse while the room heats. Sensitivity with sovereignty is a superpower. Your body notices the weather early. Your spine chooses the response, and the only way to get it is to schedule friction on purpose until your nervous system learns you can be aflame and unharmed. This is where you stop treating discomfort like an allergic reaction and start treating it like strength training. With reps you can count and progressive overload you can track. Easy does not heal you. Right-sized hard heals you, and healing is not a spa day. It is a series of precise demands met under breath control. Your mind will try to sell you shortcuts one more week to prepare, one more article to read, one more sign from the universe. But the universe already sent its sign, the knot in your gut, every time you betray your standards. The fog in your skull every time you save face instead of telling the truth. The boredom that blooms when a day passes and you produce nothing with weight. Those sensations aren't curses. They're instruments, pain as compass, restlessness as fuel, shame as a receipt for the lies you told yourself about tomorrow, and instruments only hurt when you refuse to read them. So read them and act in sentences, not speeches. This doesn't work for me. I'm leaving now. 7 Italian works. I'm not available. Full stop. Your boundary is a period, not a poem, and you will be stunned how quickly your life cleans when you stop padding your lines with apologies to remain adorable. Adorability is cheap. Respect is rare. Build rare. Build it by keeping score where it counts not hours online, not motivational content consumed, but frictions completed 3 deliberate discomforts before noon. Logged in ink where your excuses can see them and lose. And when you slip, and you will, because biology isn't a villain, it's a pattern, skip the courtroom and run the reset, name the dodge out loud so the trance breaks. Pay a small toll now so the future isn't invoiced later. Take one inconvenient win immediately so your identity remembers its allegiance, and alter one detail in the scene of the slide so next time friction stands where the exit used to be. This is mature change, iteration without melodrama, design without self-hate. You ask if this will make you too much. Good, the right people want too much clarity, too much consistency, too much self-respect. Those are the ingredients of trust, and trust is the point. The wrong ones want your ambiguity because ambiguity can be shaped into their convenience. And you were not born to be foam. Others fall into when they're tired of standing. Become shore. Become structure. Become the person whose yes means yes because there are no held when it mattered. If you still need a single mindset shift to carry in your pocket when your courage goes dim, take this stop wishing for an easier route. Start wishing to become the person for whom this route is standard. Standard is the word that changes everything. When the hill is standard, you stop arguing with gravity and start growing lungs. When the truth is standard, you stop designing speeches for fear and start speaking like the ground is yours. When the work is standard, you stop asking whether you're in the mood and start moving. Because mood is a guest and the calendar owns the house. You are not a ruin to be pitied. You are a room to be renovated. And the demolition is supposed to be loud. Let it be loud. Break the false walls you built to keep weather out and find out that you were built for weather. You're not fragile. You're unpracticed. Practice until your mornings carry steel. Your afternoons carry output. Your evenings carry earned quiet. And your nights don't need sedation because you didn't abandon yourself at noon. And when comfort returns, and it will, with warm hands and a soft voice, offering you permission to delay the hard thing just for today, remember what it costs, the slow death of a life that could have been heavy with meaning. Remember the bill respect paid in small coins of self-betrayal until you can't afford your own reflection. Remember the alternative is embarrassingly direct. Put your feet on the floor. Put your hands on the work. Put your name on lines that matter. Put your boundary in a sentence. Put your phone in another room. Put your excuses on mute. And put today on record as the day you stop worshiping softness like it was a God that ever blessed you. You want peace. Earn it with clean effort. You want love that lasts. Offer a defined presence. You want a mind that rests. Empty the backlog by doing, not by dreaming. You want a life that feels alive. Trade the counterfeit for the real and pay full price. Because the price is not suffering. It's simply this: feel what you've been avoiding and move anyway. Choose the hard thing now and collect your pulse, or choose the soft thing again and let it collect your years. This is the bill, and it's due today. Comfort won't kill you in one blow. It will harvest you in slices. If you don't raise your standard for pain with a purpose, you will keep paying pain without a point. Here's the part nobody warns you about when you finally choose discomfort on purpose. Life may look smaller at first: fewer parties, fewer aimless chats, fewer maybe commitments that used to pad your calendar and starve your spirit. But what remains gets heavy in the right way. Days start to have weight. Your name starts to mean something to you before it means anything to anyone else. And that shift, invisible to most, is the beginning of authority. The kind that doesn't need volume because it carries proof. Your old reflexes will panic. The couch will sing. The feed will glow. The friendly chaos will invite you to drown for an hour. And your body will whisper, "We've earned this." But you haven't earned anesthesia. You've earned alignment. And alignment never arrives from numbing. It arrives from contact with the task, the truth, the standard, the silence after you speak the line, and let it stand without a smiley face to soften the blow. Shocking truth 1. You don't need inspiration. You need interruption. Break the trance in the first 30 seconds or the day is gone. Feet first, not thoughts first. A life flipped by footsteps will always outrun a life argued by feelings. Shocking truth 2. Your big transformation is a stack of boring reps. The dramatic gesture is how tourists try to skip tuition. But owners pay in routine, unromantic, repeatable, non-negotiable, and then collect interest in confidence that no playlist can simulate. Shocking truth 3. The person you're trying to attract is not waiting for your perfection. They are waiting for your presence, present as in here, as in defined, as in no longer bargaining with your own boundaries to keep the air sweet. Your yes means yes because your no has teeth, and people feel the safety of that even when you say nothing. Your mind will try to turn this into philosophy again. Resist. Philosophy is dessert. Behavior is bread. Eat the bread. Put the alarm across the room and stand when it screams. Open your mouth and say the unedited sentence. Schedule your edge hour where excuses used to squat. Publish the ugly draft that proves you moved. Lift something heavy before the sun rehearses your doubt, and then stop and let the clean quiet land. That quiet is medicine. Bottle it by repeating the protocol tomorrow. You keep asking for a sign that you're on the right path. Here is your sign: your chest tightens. Your breath wants to speed. Your palms heat up. Your brain throws a tantrum. That is not danger. That is adaptation. Label it as such. This sting belongs to growth, and keep moving. Body language is a dog. Train it with tone and leash, not with negotiation. In love, this looks like policy, not performance. You don't audition. You offer, I'm free at 7. I don't text during deep work. I leave when respect leaves, said plainly, without theater. Some will call you cold, but cold is what people call warmth they can't manipulate. You're not cold. You're calibrated. When someone meets you there, you will feel a click where your life used to hiss. And that click is the sound of two defined frames aligning. No fireworks required. Just voltage steady enough to power something worth living in. In work, the same law holds. Stop waiting to feel creative. Feeling is a lagging indicator. Earn it by paying the tax of the first sentence, the first call, the first pitch. You say you're afraid of rejection, but rejection is how the world helps you prune what doesn't belong. What you should fear is the backlog of unattempted work fermenting in your gut. That's the smell you call burnout, not overuse. Underpurpose. In health, trade complicated plans for honest effort. 20 minutes a day where you sweat on purpose. Not as penance, but as proof. The body respects evidence. Treat it like an ally, not an enemy to be tricked with hacks. Put shoes on, step outside, move, stop counting minutes spent regretting and start counting minutes spent under load. The tiny mindset shift that collapses months of drift into a day of momentum is this: make your decisions once, then make the environment defend them. Alarms, timers, consequences, exiled devices, visible missions, scheduled edge hours, logistics that let a tired you still keep a promise, the alive you made. You are not weaker than you think. You are leakier than you admit. Plug the leaks and your strength will seem to multiply overnight. You will be tempted to evangelize this to everyone. Don't. Build it in silence. Let the results speak. Sermons are for people still high on day one's resolve. Systems are for people who intend to be here in year 10. Choose systems. Then let your presence preach quieter, heavier, calmer, clearer. If you want a single sentence to carry into the next hour, carry this: I move before I explain. Repeat it until it becomes a reflex. Explanation is how you've been escaping. Action is how you return. And yes, you will lose some company. Thank them and release them. The path narrows as you rise, not because you're too good for anyone, but because the higher standard filters for those who actually want to hold something with weight. The reward is not applause. It's evenings that don't require sedation to endure. Mornings that don't require warfare to start. A mirror that doesn't require slogans to believe. So here is the last clarity for today. Delivered without sugar comfort is a liar that sounds like love. Growth is a friend that arrives like a storm. One will tuck you in while your life dissolves. The other will drag you outside while your spine reforms. Choose the storm. Stand in it. Breathe in it. Let it reshape your edges until you can carry what you've been asking for. Then carry it again tomorrow. And when your old softness knocks with flowers, remember what it cost you and close the door. Do the next hard minute now, not later. Not when you feel ready. Move, or be moved by the same gentle force that has been bearing you alive. Comfort is a velvet cage. The door is open, but you won't leave because the pillows are pretty. You keep praying for a sign, and the sign is the ache you feel every night when the lights go off and your mind starts listing the ways you abandoned yourself today. Enough pretending this is complicated. It isn't. You've been negotiating with gravity, writing little speeches to delay the only moves that would make you proud, asking the world to lower the mountain instead of asking your lungs to get bigger, calling your avoidance alignment, calling your sedation self-care, calling your fear intuition. The bill is due. What you call overwhelm is just the noise of unfinished choices ricocheting in a skull that refuses to do its job. What you call low confidence is just the echo of promises you broke so many times your reflection filed for emancipation. What you call relationship fatigue is the boredom that blossoms when two people collude to keep things comfortable instead of honest, to keep things nice instead of real, to keep things stable instead of alive. You want attraction? Become a person whose standards have teeth, whose time has edges, whose yes is earned because their no is enforced. You want peace? Earn it with clean effort, not another hour of pleasant drift. You want purpose? Stop hunting for a feeling and build a pattern. Wake when you said, move when you said, speak when you should, ship when you promised. Feelings follow footprints. They do not lay the path. Here is what living outside the velvet cage actually feels like: no mysticism, just mechanics. Mornings stop being a courtroom and start being a runway because your feet hit floor before your mouth pleads its case. Your first act is output, not input. You let your hands make a line. The critic in your head can edit later. Midday becomes heavier in the best way because you stack completions, not intentions. And completions have a weight that calms animals. The animal inside you stops pacing because it trusts its handler. Afternoons no longer demand anesthesia because your ledger shows proof, not platitudes. Proof buys quiet. Quiet buys presence. Presence buys respect. And respect, especially self-respect, is the most renewable fuel you'll ever find. Evenings are earned, not stolen, and earned rest restores. Stolen rest erases. In relationships, you replace performance with policy. You stop auditioning and start offering. You let "this is how I live" be your calling card. You let silence carry your line to the ground instead of cushioning it with apology. You release people who need your blur to feel strong, and you welcome the ones who treat your edges like the safety rails they are. You stop mistaking harmony for love and realize love is repair under tension, clarity under heat, consistency under time. When conflict knocks, you answer the door with breath instead of theater. You state, you listen, you decide, you proceed. No hostage notes, no martyrdom, no weaponized ambiguity. Your world shrinks at first: fewer fake obligations, fewer noisy companions, fewer maybe someday projects chewing your calendar like termites. But then it expands inward, and that expansion is everything: a spine where a wishbone used to be, a schedule that works even on bad days, a face that doesn't flinch when you meet your own eyes. Stop telling yourself you need a new identity. You need a new record: days where your behavior agreed with your standards when nobody was watching. Identity follows ledger. Ledger follows logistics. Logistics follow decisions made once and defended by environment. That is the entire algorithm. Tape your mission sentence where your eyes land first. Put your phone 2 rooms away when you're doing the thing that makes you worth knowing. Attach consequences to missed reps so the feedback loop is tight and immediate. Pain now is mercy. Pain later is interest. Wear your shoes where your excuses live. Keep your promises small enough to crush daily and hard enough to matter. Track friction reps, not motivation. When you slip, and yes, you will, because biology is loyal to the last version of you, skip the opera. Name the dodge out loud to puncture the trance. Pay a tiny toll so the universe knows you're serious. Take one inconvenient win in the next 5 minutes to protect the identity you're rebuilding. And add a layer of friction to the exact exit you used so the floor plan changes. That's not self-help. That's engineering. You're not a mystery to be solved. You're a system to be rebuilt. And let's finally settle the fear of being too much. You were never too much. You were too undefined. Definition scares the ones who fed on your softness because it cuts off their access to your time, your attention, your labor. Good. Let scarcity do the sorting your politeness refused to do. The right people are allergic to your blur and addicted to your clarity. The rooms you want to inhabit run on edges. Call times mean something. Boundaries mean something. Standards mean something. And kindness is not code for self-erasure. You keep asking the world to take you seriously while running your life on maybe. Replace maybe with no for 24 hours. Watch your calendar unclench. And notice how much genius hides under the clutter you labeled as obligations. Replace "I'll try" with "I will at 7 and make 7 carry teeth." Replace "I need motivation" with "I need evidence." And start stockpiling it one ugly rep at a time. If you want the most dangerous, liberating reframe in the simplest language possible, memorize this. I don't want the path to get easier. I want to become the person for whom this path is standard. Standard eats excuses. Standard turns heat into habitat. Standard makes the hard thing boring, and boring is where mastery lives. Mastery draws gravity. Gravity pulls the right partners, the right work, the right opportunities, not because the universe is romantic, but because competence, consistency, and clarity are rare, and markets reward rarity. The luck you envy is often just someone who built standards that outlived their moods. So here we are. The door is open. The pillows are still pretty. Comfort is humming its lullaby, and it will tuck you in for another year if you let it. Or you can stand up, right now, before your brain drafts a speech, and choose the first unromantic minute that offends your softness and honors your future. Set the timer, make the call, write the line, lift the weight, say the boundary, close the tab, put the phone away, breathe like you belong in heat. Collect the proof, stack it tomorrow. Watch your voice change. Watch your presence densify. Watch your life become a room people feel when you walk in because you finally feel it when you do. There's no chorus, no confetti, just you, the edge, and the next honest minute. That minute is the hinge. Turn it, and the door stops being a metaphor. Turn it, and the cage is just a room you used to rent. Turn it, and comfort becomes what it always should have been, a chair you sit in after the work. Not the home where your potential goes to die. Choose the hard minute now or choose another year of gentle suffocation. Either way, the choice is yours, and the clock already moved.